Well, SIM cards could soon be on their way out. Phone manufacturers are moving towards eSIM cards in newer phone models, but the change could cause some headaches for customers. Joining us here in Studio 57 to break all of this down is Lisa Eadicicco. I got it right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, great. And Lisa's a senior editor for CNET. Thanks so much for being here, Lisa.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So let's start with a really easy question here. What is an eSIM, and why are we seeing companies make this switch?
Absolutely. So first, it's important to understand what a SIM card is. So a SIM card is that little chip inside your phone that lets your phone communicate with your wireless carrier, and it also stores your phone number on it. So an eSIM is essentially a digital version of that card. And the reason why we're moving away from that now is because eSIMs do bring a lot of convenience, but as you mentioned, there can also be some headaches involved.
So what are the, I can't think of the potential drawbacks of a SIM card, but apparently there are some.
So with an eSIM, one of the big things that you get from that is it's so much easier to switch between carriers, or at least it should be. So let's say you want to switch to a different carrier. You don't have to go into a store. You don't have to order a new SIM card online and wait for it to arrive. You can simply scan a QR code or download an app and activate it that way. So it is very simple. Plus, you can also store a lot more phone numbers on your phone through eSIM. So if you like to switch between a business phone number and a personal phone number, that can be easier through eSIM. If you travel a lot internationally and have other phone numbers, that's also easier through eSIM. But there's also a security component as well, because if somebody steals your phone, all they have to do is pop open that SIM tray and steal your SIM card, and then they have your phone number. And that's a big problem because a lot of us do rely on our phone numbers for two-factor authentication and things like that.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
I was also just thinking, when you're traveling, usually you could just take out your SIM card, put in another SIM card in another country, and pay a really cheap day rate. Now, I guess you can't do that.
You can still do that. So a lot of phones also still support regular physical SIMs. So they're not gone entirely. This is just a direction that the industry is moving in. But if you do want to use a physical SIM card, you can absolutely do that on most phones. The exception is newer iPhones. So the iPhone 14 and later, so the iPhone 14 and 15 in the US, does not have any physical SIM support, so you have to use an eSIM on those phones.
Of course.
Yeah, which is what I have. That's why I was sort of curious. So how long will it take for the entire full smartphone industry to switch over to these eSIMs?
So it's hard to put an exact time frame on it, but now that Apple has done this, it wouldn't be surprising to see other phone makers follow suit pretty soon, because not only are there the benefits that I described earlier, but it's also helpful from a design standpoint. Now that you don't have that physical SIM card slot, that opens up more room in the device for phone makers to put other components in there.
Got it.
Really cool. Lisa, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.